I'd like to. I don't.
Did you play with Josh the other day?
We played in different groups, but
So we know what he shot. What did you shoot?
he beat me.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not happy. Well,
That taste.
I don't know. We're gonna have to find a way to get back over there before we leave. So
Back in Rochester, just how special is it to be here?
I love it. This is fun. Just to be here. It seems like it's been a couple years, but also it doesn't seem like it's been that long. But we love it coming up here. I think it's great for our players, great for our team. It gives us a chance to connect with fans in this area that might not be able to come down to Buffalo for whatever reason. So we're excited to be here, and hopefully we have good weather. I know we had a little sprinkle earlier, but it held off for us.
We saw Drew Rosenhaus is here. Where do things currently stand in negotiations with Jordan Poyer?
Yeah, I mean, Drew and I have a great relationship, as to us and Jordan, and Drew and I have many conversations. This just happened to work out for him to come up here and do this to start camp. But we're good. I don't talk about negotiations, that. But love Jordan. Drew's great to work with, and that's probably the extent that I'd be willing to talk about it. Is that it?
Getting back to camp a little bit. I mean, this goes against the trend now. You guys going away in the National Football League. Do you see it as a long-term thing? This relationship with Rochester?
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. But I think camp. Listen, things evolve. I would love to sit here and say we're going to go to camp as long as I'm the GM, Sean's the head coach. We both believe very strongly in it until there's something that changes our mind. And camp's not the way it used to be. When I first started, camp was 6 weeks. Like you broke right before the 4th preseason game. And so it's not this is like gets us, 2.5 weeks, a little bonding, get the guys out of their element, and then you come back home. There's still be a lot of weeks in Orchard Park before we actually play a real game. So, I think we'll still look to go away, but we'll also compare how it goes this year to how it was the last 2 years, and then make a decision on what's best.
Brandon, there was I don't think the team has confirmed Andre Smith's suspension. There was a report about that do you have any comment on that? What happened, or how that affects him at camp or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, the rules are he is suspended. That's once the season starts. So he'll be able to participate in training camp with us, and then at the 53 cutdown, his suspension starts week 1, and so. That is what it is. It's a 6-week suspension. Yep. So he's out. He can't, can't participate in meetings or practice or anything like that.
We saw Trey out there, and Sean said he's on schedule. What is on schedule? Would you say that means for a guy like Trey?
Yeah, I mean, Trey's doing. He's not had setbacks or anything. When whatever surgery you have, in his case an ACL, we take 4 or 5 of us in here. I might take 8 months. You might take 4 months. Somebody else might take 6. Like, there's various, like, how much you attack it. How bad was it a clean tear? Was it not a clean tear? Was it more than one ligament? There's a lot of factors. You generally just hear someone tore their ACL, and this player took over. Like, I know a player in the league because I know this person separately. I know him personally, and this person had an ACL tear but tore some other things, and it's been close to a year, and they're still not fully back. And so I say that in that Trey's doing really well for where he's at. We're also trying to protect Trey. Trey's dying to get back out there. He's a competitor, and so we're not going to put him out there till we're ready and he's ready, and open dialogue, between our medical staff and me, Trey, and Sean.
How big of a setback is Roger Saffold's rib injuries, and how do you plan for the season? Is he expected with ribs? Again, you don't know, but you may know better. Should we anticipate him here practicing at some point, or what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to put a timetable on it, but those are generally, they take some time. I mean, it's tough for him to sleep. Anybody that's ever cracked some ribs can probably speak to that. But he's sore. Fortunately, that's all it was. Anytime you get a car wreck, those can be life-threatening. But we're glad that's the worst it is. There's never good timing, but probably better now than in the season. And so we'll just we'll be patient. And he's a pro. He's a vet. He and Coach Cromer have worked together too. And he's a smart guy. He knows the offense. So we'll ease him back in once the doctors say he's cleared to go. But, I think he'll be back here at some point before the season starts.
There's competition for spot, but would you consider offensive line maybe a particular place where there's going to be, there's some, it looks like there's some decisions that have to be made. There's a lot of guys that are competing there. Would you consider that maybe the one area that's going to really be an open type of competition in some spots?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the pads. There's only so much you can evaluate linemen until you can actually, play physical football. And so I think July 30th, we roll the pads out. So I'm looking forward to that. I do think there's going to be some decisions, and some of it will be, Sal, based on versatility. How many spots can you help us play, especially if you're not a starter? Having one whole backups, you better be a really good player. And you saw us match Ryan Bates' offer. Ryan can ultimately play 5 spots if you need him to. So that will be what weighed in as well with each of these guys. 8, 9, if we keep 10, whatever the number is we keep, those guys need to be able to play multiple spots.
Spot on this roster that you still would like to add to specifically? Is there a group that you feel like it'd be good to get one other player in here, or anyone you're looking at specifically?
No, we're looking everywhere, Elaine. We had a workout out here this afternoon just to kind of rate some guys that are currently free agents and kind of stack our list for injury replacement and guys like that. But no, we're constantly looking, and if we feel like whether someone's released or there's also some free agents out there that are rehabbing, that have gone through injuries that we've been in contact with their agents, and if they heal up, maybe we take a look at them. So we'll continue to look and churn the back end of this roster if we think there's guys that can fit, but not a specific position.
I know there's competition at every position, that's what you want, but if you put your fan hat on for a minute, is there one you're looking at and going, wait, that's going to be juicy, I want to see how these guys compete every day, we got a lot of bodies there, and it's going to be fun?
I think, to Sal's point, I like both of our lines. I think we got a lot of guys that can do some different things. I'm looking forward to seeing, some of the ends when they go inside in nickel pass rush situations, how that looks. We've added some beef in there. Daquan, I think we've got some versatile pieces. Unfortunately, Ely Anku had the calf deal, but I think both lines, watching these guys go against each other in 1-on-1s, 9-on-7, all those drills, that's probably what I'm most excited about. Because the spring you get to see all the skills, you don't really get to see the linemen, go at it. So that's probably where I'll be.
I'm sorry, Kerry, one follow-up since you mentioned Ely. Can you give us an update on him, like if you expect him back, and also how Ike Butker is progressing? We haven't talked about him.
Yeah, Ely, he just strained it yesterday with his conditioning, so it's early. We kind of have to see how it goes. Those calves can be nagging. I think you remember Jerry Hughes had one last year that nagged a little bit, we'll just have to take it and see when he's ready. Sometimes those are a week, sometimes they're 3 weeks. So when he's ready, we'll get him back out.
Not knowing Trey's timetable, and you're not going to speculate on that. But at what point, Brandon, if we get late into camp and maybe it's looking like he might not be ready for the opener, do you need to add a veteran at that position, given you've got a couple young kids that would have to maybe step in and start?
Yeah, we'll weigh that for sure. How are these guys doing? Where is Trey at, in his progress? And then, is Trey, if for some reason, to your question, if he doesn't make game 1, well, does he not make game 1 and he's ready for game 2, or does he not make game 1 and he's not ready till, on into the season? So I think we'll weigh all those things. I don't have the crystal ball yet, but we'll definitely pay attention to our young guys. Right now, Kyer and Dane are out there with the ones. We'll definitely give a strong evaluation. How are they doing? Do we think they're ready if they need to start week 1? And if not, then we'll definitely pay attention to the veteran market, whether that's, trade for a guy or go sign a guy who's unemployed.
PUP is 4 weeks now, right? You missed the first 4 weeks, is that?
No, it's 6.
Still 6?
Yeah, it's 6. You can IR if it's 4. Like if you make our 53, and the IR part is now 4. Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Landon, what's your take on being favored in Vegas? The Bills.
I mean, I'm glad that people like us. I appreciate that, but it doesn't mean anything. Like, it really doesn't. That's what's good about this camp. Like, just get away from that and just come in here and work. We just got to work. We're 0-0, just like 31 other teams, and that's the AFC's stacked. I mean, just whoever makes it out of the AFC had a heck of a year this year. Just looking at that gauntlet, not even worried about the other half, of the league.
A lot of teams are doing joint practices. How closely did you look at that? And is it a case where it's kind of got to work with one of your 3 preseason opponents to make it viable?
You can request who you play to do it if you can. Part of it is just getting on the same page of how you want to do practice, the dates, where you would do it. We don't have a lot of space like to do it here necessarily, so it probably would work better because we like to stay on grass as much as we can. We probably would have to use this field as well. Never say never, but that's what, that was a great setup for us in 19 when we went down to Carolina. They had those 3 fields. That's part of it. And then just timing wise, sometimes other teams have agreements. We're open to it. It's got to also be with, a group of people that we know are going to run practices. We've all seen where melees happen or cheap shots, things like that. And that takes away from what we're there for. And so we would have to know that, their organization's going to run things, in a tight fashion so that it doesn't turn into melees out there. But we didn't do it this year. We did discuss it with a couple teams, but ultimately we just decided, hey, this is the first time we're going back away. Let's just do this, see how it goes, and then we'll look at it next year.
In general, in your experience, how well do safeties and their skill sets age into their 30s?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's guys that have shown and can play and continue, and I know I get your question. You're talking about Micah and Jordan, both of them, and I think both those guys do such a great job of training. And I mean, Jordan, neither one of them were here for a lot of the off-season program, but you can tell these guys, they worked. Jordan just coming right out at the mandatory minicamp for those couple of days and dropped right back in there. So a lot of credit to him. And, Micah had some stuff going on, so he trained a lot of wives out in California. But I think part of it is who are the people you're talking about? Are they going to eat right, train right, get the right rest, live the right lifestyle to do it? And I expect those guys to continue to play well, for the foreseeable future.
Jay Epenesa, you guys have spent the offseason evaluating all of your players, him in particular. Is there something that you tabbed that maybe why the light hasn't gone on yet? Is there anything that you've seen over this offseason that maybe gives signs of, something where he can maybe take a step this season? Yeah, I mean, I think, we put a lot of pressure, fans, media, organizations, whatever you want to call it, on young players. And, AJ had a major transformation. He played at close to 280 at Iowa, and we asked him to get down. Well, you got to remember, he had no off season. So he comes in. We couldn't monitor him really, and he comes in the 240s, I think it was, and he was undersized. Separate of the size, he had no training. I mean, I can't imagine if Kyer, James Cook, this crew, like this was the first time we got our hands on him, would be today. That class with AJ, that's hard for those guys to do. That's a quick transition. So first off, he's behind the 8 ball that year physically, and then just reps. He lost all those spring reps. Fast forward to last season, he did some good things. I think for whatever happened, he lost some confidence a little bit. Maybe things didn't go. He had that great game in Miami week 2, and then just kind of rode the roller coaster. But I think he is in the best mental, physical state he's been, and we're not down on AJ at all. I don't think I think expectations get put on the outside. Inside our building, we're very happy with AJ and where he's at and excited about what's in store for him this season.